Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Lexi and today I am doing a part 2 from last week's video. Last week I decluttered my Sephora wishlist and got rid of any product that I either have a similar product of already or try to make comparisons within the wishlist and pick and choose which ones were staying and which ones were out of here. Today I am trying to dupe the products that made it through and are still on my wishlist, but I'm still a little unsure if it is the product for me or if I have something similar. If you're curious to see which products I used and which ones I was trying to dupe, keep on watching. So I did start by prepping my skin. I just used some face wash and then put on moisturizer, and then I also have some lip balm. And the first product that I'm trying to kind of dupe is the new Huda Beauty Easy Blur foundation. I've already seen so many reviews from people with dry skin, oily skin, combo skin, and it seems like everybody loves it. But I recently just bought a blurring mattifying foundation, and the one that I got was the NYX Bear With Me foundation, and the shade looks pretty dark, but I've worn it a few times and it actually blends pretty close to my skin tone. The shade I have is 4 Light Neutral. My thing with this one is I've kind of struggled to see either how to prep my skin for it, as well as what makeup works well with it. I know powder works horribly for this, at least for me. I have really dry skin, so I won't be doing that today. And I've also kind of seen some reviews of people saying to work in sections, and so I'm going to try that today, as well as using a brush versus a makeup sponge. So on this side of my face I'm going to use a brush, and then this side I will be using the sponge. And this one is a lot cheaper than the Huda Beauty one. It is drugstore, so it's quite affordable. I think it was like $10 or $11. And I just bought this like a few weeks ago, so I really don't see why I need another one that does the same thing. And it's actually a pretty good shade for me, I think. So I think I put way too much. Oh no. I do think I put a lot of product on, but it's okay, we'll work it out. So it does blur really well, and it does leave a very matte finish. It's really beautiful. I just find that some areas of my skin, it kind of clings onto dry patches. So for me, around the nose area, and then sometimes on my chin. And I've seen a few reviews saying that you really have to prep your skin correctly. So I just went in with a face wash and moisturizer. And so far, I think it's looking really good with the brush. Last time I tried it over a mattifying sunscreen, and that did not look great to me. It just was too dry. And I really do like that it has like a nice mousse texture. I'm gonna try and go in with a little less, and then this side I'm gonna use a sponge. So I do think it blended out for the most part on this side. It does have pretty good coverage, especially with the sponge side. It did cover up this for the most part. I'm finding though, like around my nose, it really settles in. I think I'm gonna go in with a brush that seemed to kind of have the best coverage as well as blendability. I think the first time I used it with my fingers, and it blended well for the most part, like I said. Just some areas it really clung to dry patches, and then of course setting it with powder did not help. So I have not tried the Huda Beauty one, but no one's gonna know what foundation you're wearing, and for a blurring matte finish, this looks really good. So I am happy that I have this, and I don't need to buy the Huda foundation anytime soon. The next product I was thinking of getting is the Rare Beauty Under Eye Concealer or eye brightener. I think the driving factor for me wanting to purchase that is that the applicator is metal, so it's supposed to have a cooling sensation on the skin. So that's what we're gonna do today. I have a good concealer, and I'm gonna apply it with a metal applicator and see if that kind of satisfies my urge for wanting that product. And I'm using the Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer, and the shade is N4. This one is slightly too dark for me, I think, but blended out, it looks fine. And I guess I'm just gonna try and like spread it. Maybe I should put it on here and then spread it, but I mean, it is cooling, I guess, but I was thinking it would be a better sensation. I don't know. It's fine. It's nothing like extraordinary where I feel like I'm gonna do this every day. I'm just gonna blend out with a sponge on my under eyes. So I guess I am happy that I'm not buying that product because I haven't really heard many great things, or honestly anything, about the Rare Beauty Under Eye Concealer. And I've heard a lot about this Natasha Denona one, so I really have one that I already like. So I don't need to get another one. This one works just fine, and maybe because the applicator is already metal, I'm not having to use a separate product. It really wasn't like that great of a sensation to have. Next, there were quite a few cream blushes as well as cream bronzers that I have my eye on. And what I'll be using for bronzer is the Cloud Paint in Dusk. I know these are supposed to actually be blushes, but this shade works as a bronzer for my complexion, so that's what I usually use it for. I think my itch has just been wanting a new cream bronzer. I recently also got the Makeup by Mario like contour stick, and I love that one. It is so beautiful, and it is lighter than this one, so it just blends like a dream, and I've really been enjoying it. I also think I've been working on some powder bronzers that aren't really my favorite, so I think that's kind of why I'm also wanting to try new products. But again, no one is gonna know what's on your face, what brand it is, except you. And if you like how it looks, I feel like that is all that matters. And with project panning, I've really learned to kind of learn more about techniques than getting specific products, because I feel like you can really make a lot of things work for you and work in different ways than you may have done in the past. For example, I have a foundation, the Sephora Best Skin Ever foundation, and when I first got that, I hated it, and I kind of kept trying to find the perfect one, and I ended up with a lot, and I realized, okay, I need to start using my products. So that one was my oldest, and I started using it, and I'm almost done with it, and I love it. I'm gonna be sad that it's almost gone, and I've been kind of cherishing this last week with it because it has really been a great foundation, and I really just need to learn how to use it and how to apply it. And I think you can say that for a lot of products. Blended out so beautifully. I'm loving how it looks. It's been a while since I reached for this one, so I am happy to see that it still performs like a dream and is kind of curving that temptation of buying a new cream bronzer. So looking through all the blushes that I had on my wish list, I was noticing a common trend of a mauve dusty rose kind of shade for a blush, and I already have that shade. So I really just wanted to bust this one out again. This is the e.l.f. Camo Blush, and the shade it's Dusty Rose, and I already have it, so I should just use it. And I actually really like this one. This is their full size, and I feel like you get so much product. It's really pretty, and honestly, one of my favorite blushes. And they have a lot of other shades too, so in the future I would love to try some more, but this is such an affordable product, and I don't know why I was looking for other products that are the same shade. I'm thinking maybe it was just over time, or maybe brands that I've wanted to try, but I do want to start stepping out of my comfort zone and getting like an orange blush, something that I don't have, rather than the same color over and over again, just in different formulas or from different brands. And then with these types of cream blushes, I do like to tap over kind of the edges with a makeup sponge. I feel like it just makes the look blend all together. I also had a few eyebrow pencils on my wish list from different brands, and my thing has been just trying to get a very thin tip for an eyebrow pencil, as well as trying to find the right shade for me. And I feel like I'm pretty basic when it comes to brow products. I usually just prefer a gel type formula and a pencil one, and that's really what I have. So the one that I've been using as a pencil is a NYX micro brow pencil. And it says micro, but I really thought it would be smaller than what it is. And the shade I've noticed is just a tad bit too warm for me, but again, blend it out, and in my brows, I feel like I'm probably the only person who notices that. I feel like the tip is pretty micro, but I was just kind of expecting something a little smaller, I guess. I don't know. I don't even know if the other ones are smaller than this. And this one works fine. I've been using it, and I am actually pretty close to being done with it. This next product I am trying to dupe. I'm not sure if this is going to work, so this is kind of the test. And the product was Makeup by Mario, like one of their highlighters, and it kind of looks like Vaseline to me. So I don't actually have Vaseline, but I have Cetaphil, kind of the same thing honestly. And I'm just gonna try and see if I can achieve that same wet look. It was pretty expensive, I think like $25 for this very like gel-like highlighter. And I mean, I have this huge tub of it that I don't even know if you can see how much progress I have in there, but I have plenty, and this is gonna take me a while to finish. So I'm curious to see if I can just like kind of create that same look. I do wonder like how this would last throughout the day. You know, it's gonna get sticky. I'm definitely gonna have my hair back because they also had an eye, but it's going to be sticky. I mean, it's cute, but is it realistic to have as a product? I don't know. I also don't know if that one like ever dries down. I know some products like that don't. So I'm curious to see. And like, can you see that? I mean, I can kind of see it, but I feel like that's because of the lights. I don't know if like throughout the day you would see it, or somebody would just be like, you have Vaseline on your face. Yeah, I really can't tell with that one. Looks a little off to me, but we will see. And then the last product that I kind of had duplicates of was the Dior lip product. And I had kind of a range of these deep reds as well as a very bright red and a kind of like muted brownish red. They were all matte formulas, and unfortunately I don't really have any matte lip products. No, I guess this one is matte. It says it's matte, but I've kind of noticed that it has like a balmy texture to it. But this is the MAC Maximalist lipstick, and on the shade I have is Ruby Woo. But first I'm going to use just a reddish lip liner. This is Wilma in the shade Ross. And my reasoning for not getting those products was that I don't really wear bright reds. And I recently just bought this one because I didn't really have it in my collection, but I really wanted to kind of play around with some reds recently. I also don't really gravitate towards matte lip products just because I feel like it really brings out the creases in my lips, and it's just not a look I really like on myself. But I saw really great reviews for this one, and like I said, it feels really balmy. Like I didn't even remember that it's a matte product. And this one is a very gorgeous like blue toned red. It's so beautiful, and this reminds me of like that brightest red that I had, which was like the Forever Dior classic red or classic, I don't know what it was called, but this shade really reminds me of that one, whereas the other ones, one was like a muted red, and then the other was like this like burnt red, which I think if I were to get one, it would be that one. Yeah, I'm not sure how this counts as a matte because it feels so hydrating on the lips, and it's super balmy feeling and looking. So I'm not sure how that counts as matte, but I still love it anyway. I do want to try and wear more bright reds like this out and about and kind of get a feel for how often I need to reapply so that I can get a better understanding of how confident I feel in it, and if it is going to be something I do often, or at least enough to justify a purchase, as well as if it's something that kind of goes along with my makeup habits, if I'm willing to reapply it throughout the day. But I do think this is a very beautiful shade, and I am still very curious to try the Dior one. I think I would need to wait a little bit. I don't know, can you tell me if this like Vaseline-esque is doing anything? Because I feel like it's not. I can't tell. Yeah, I really can't tell with it. Like, it looks like my skin is hydrated, but I don't know. I need to see how it looks on my phone because this is just, I mean, it feels hydrated. It's actually not as sticky as when I first applied it, so I guess maybe it does sit down. My eyelids, it feels super sticky, but I do think I am loving this look so far. So the last thing that I'm going to do, and this product isn't really duping anything on my wish list, is use a hydrating setting spray. So the ones that I had on my wish list kind of have a more matte finish, and I think with such a matte base, with dry skin, I need to kind of steer towards a hydrating setting spray. Like I said last time I wore this foundation, I set it with powder, and that was probably the absolute worst thing I could do with that. So I guess I'm going to go on the opposite side of the pendulum and try using a dewy setting spray. I did have quite a few mascaras on my wish list, but without really knowing the formula, because I've never tried those products before, I don't really think I can make a dupe for it, but I do have plenty of mascara unopened and opened that I need to get through, and I really don't want to come to find that, say, one of the mini mascaras that I have ends up being dried up by the time I get to it. So I really don't see a point in me buying a mascara anytime soon, though it is something I want to try. I believe I just had one eyeshadow palette in my wish list, and it was one of the Huda Beauty soft mattes, I think. They're like cool mattes. I know it was a 9-pan and they were all matte shades, so beautiful, but I have so much eyeshadow, and I'm sure that if I went through everything, I could find those colors. And I also have 2 other Huda Beauty palettes that I don't even have like a noticeable dip in a shade. So for me, that is enough of a reason to not buy more products. I want to use what I have, and I know that the more that I buy, the less I'm able to use all my products, and higher the chance that something goes off before I'm able to finish it. So here is the final look of duping the products in my wish list, and I'm really happy with how this came out. I got to play around with some new products and some old favorites, and I really love how this came together. I think it's really fun to see a look or a product that you don't necessarily have and try and make do with what you do have. I see it as a challenge and a fun game to play when I know there's something that I want but don't necessarily need. If you liked this video, I'd love if you like and subscribe so you can support me and my channel, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!